Whoa, why is it monitoring my input? Oh, because of audition. Oh, dude, I had it set to monitor.
Still here. Do not disturb and volume all the way down. That way, if you know she, the person whose name we don't say for fear of it Hold on just a second.
Wah, wah, wah. We're getting ready to get started. I think he's on a phone call.
All right, I'm back. Sorry.
You are back. Ready to do that sync thing real fast?
Yep, I am.
All right, I'm recording.
Recording?
Now? I am recording as well. Okay, we will do 3, 2, 1, clap. That was the practice run. That's just a rehash of how it goes. I don't know why I rehash it because we do the same damn thing. Palace. I see that in there.
Palace, subscribing to tier 1. I know you can hear us. Thanks for the sub, man.
All right, 3, 2, 1, clap. And a math question. 3, 2, 1. Bearded. Brennan, what's 3 plus 3?
6.
It is 6. And we are getting ready to transition. Thank you for that once again, Palace. You, sir,
Yeah, man, much appreciated.
have a number 1 badge there. Not many of those are left. I'll tell you that much.
3 left.
3.
We're down to 3 of them.
We are. And let's bring the show on. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Oh, it helps if you click the actual show, though. Boom. There it is. We're here. What do you think about that?
I think it's a Tuesday that feels like a Monday.
Let me get in the front here. There we go. It does. All right, you ready to kick it off? I'll do it this week.
I feel like my camera needs to be like a lot closer so that people can see me better.
I potentially agree with that. But you know what's crazy is that you're not even moving right now, and I'm pretty sure it's because I had the screen minimized. But see, now you're moving a bit more. All right, you ready?
Here we go. Let's do it.
And I got water too, which is good. I have to have water. That's water. 67, One More Game podcast. Here we go again in a post Extra Life 2019 era. Brennan, how are you?
I am excellent, Dan. How about yourself?
Great, dude. I'm doing well. I'm glad to be doing back to our long form episodes. And I guess on that note, I should tell everybody that we are now back to a weekly podcast as well.
Weekly, trying to keep it to 45 minutes to an hour.
Yep.
We'll see how it goes.
We will. We'll see how much editing we go back to doing. The audio lately has been phenomenal, so I think that part will be good. But we are definitely coming at you every week again. Life slowed down a little bit, at least for a little while. We'll get into all that other stuff here soon. But we had a great week last week, didn't we?
It was excellent. It was fantastic. It was the most tiring week I've had in a really long time, probably since college. But it was the most fun I've had in a long time as well.
And you finally got to play The Last of Us.
Yeah, exactly. Got to start it. I'm enjoying the heck out of it. Can't wait to finish it.
So for those unaware and new listeners, we just participated with Rocket Punch, fellow gaming podcasts, in their Extra Life 2019 campaign. We did it again. We did it once before. I want to say it might have been 2017 was the last time we did it. I remember doing it last year. But they got together with us again this year, said, hey, do you guys want to come be a part of the team? And we said, yep, we're going to do it. And we got some streaming time in. You got The Last of Us.
Yep.
I had a couple of excruciating hours of Beat Saber. And
I think that's a mild way to put it.
The icy hot was real in Ad's household. Let me tell you about that. Because I had to test it out. And there's no testing. There's not. It's like Pringles. Beat Saber is a lot like Pringles. You can't play one song. You are going to get in there, and you've already done this 2 minutes of setup, and it's really not that bad. To get in there, and boom, you got the headset on, you're in the zone, you got your lightsabers ready to, go to town, and you play one song, and that one song leads into, well, let me just try this one to see if I'm any better at this one. And the next thing you know, it's 2 hours later. I literally played, I think, for an hour and a half to 2 hours before my first Beat Saber stream. That's probably where I messed up.
I think you kept saying, "Hey, I'm about to go live to test it on Discord for like an hour and a half."
Yeah.
Hey, I just need to test this one thing. Hey, I got one more thing to test.
Yeah, dude.
An hour and a half later, we actually went live to test it.
Yeah.
And then played for an hour.
Yeah, and it was. And let me tell you, I felt every bit of that, a little bit later on. But it was great. We had some wonderful participation in chat. You got to experience The Last of Us, and there's a lot of people that were actually experiencing that for the same time as you, for the first time.
Yeah. I mean, with it being free on PlayStation Plus for PlayStation Plus members, I think a lot of people were downloading it and giving it their first shot.
It was that in MLB The Show, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. And for those that don't know and don't follow sports, we will just mention the Nationals won. The Braves did not. I know we are all very disappointed about that, but the Braves will be back next year, and they will take the World Series. Are you a baseball fan?
That's what we say every year. The Braves will win the World Series.
And we're crushed.
Every year.
We're crushed, unfortunately.
Yep.
It is something we've become
seasons
accustomed
it's
to.
better than others, right? They get knocked out a little bit earlier in the season, and we don't have to fret with playoffs at all.
Yeah.
With postseason.
Yep.
But it's that heart-wrenching. They make it to the playoffs, and then game 5, game 6, and they lose.
Pitching. Anyways, it's a game podcast, but I'm just
That's
saying.
a game. It's just,
it is. It's
not video games.
Yeah, it is. But so that has definitely been the highlights. But while doing that, we actually got to play. We had an event. We got to play a lot of Secret Neighbor. We actually, TinyBuild was nice enough to send us a couple of keys to do a stream prior to the game going live for everybody, or the general public, I should say, for purchase on Steam. And I had some of the most fun in a game with a group of friends that I've had in quite a while. We had a blast playing Secret Neighbor.
Yeah, it was. I haven't had that much fun with that style of game ever that I can think of.
Yeah. And it was, I'll tell you, we played it again. I think we played it one or two other times.
Yep.
Played it 2 times.
2 Wednesdays in a row.
I definitely, the thrill the first time, it did not feel the same again because, of course, it's one level and the mechanics are pretty much the same. But that first time we played it, I have not laughed. I have not been jump scared. I don't even think Blair Witch was as bad as Secret Neighbor with the clown neighbor and stuff.
I think a lot of it, too, is just with Blair Witch, there's going to be jump scares. Right. Like the music changes, so you have like some idea of when it's going to happen. With Secret Neighbor, the person that's doing the jump scaring is with you, playing with you.
Right.
You have no idea when it's going to come. They're just going to transform into the neighbor at some point, and then boom, jump scare.
Yeah.
Right. So, it just happens. You don't get the music lead up. You don't get the added hints that something's about to come at you.
Right. And I think one of the cool things is they were quick to correct some of the issues in the game, like to where you can modify, in your customs games, you can modify whether or not you actually have key card doors and a lot of that other stuff that kind of seemed to be a little lagging a little bit in keeping the game from being at a consistent pace, I guess you would say. So they've been really responsive with a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, I think the key card doors definitely change the play. You know, when you're trying to do, especially when you're playing it on stream or playing it for a video, having to sit and find those key cards really breaks kind of the speed of the game
Yeah.
and the flow. But for general play, I think I prefer having the key cards on. It kind of adds another layer of challenge
Right.
on top of, you can have somebody set out to find, to find the key cards, and then some folks set out to find the door keys for the basement. So it adds another level of complexity to the teamwork.
Yeah, and they also made it to where before, if you were the neighbor, you actually had to charge yourself in order to start using, being able to start using your powers more or less. Now they made it to where you can kind of do it right out the gate, which I think is an interesting change too.
Yeah.
But
They also added, I believe, another layer of powers to the neighbor. So before it was charge once to transform, and then you get second and third level to use your two powers. But I believe now it is you can charge immediately, and then you actually have three levels of powers based
right,
on your charges.
yeah. And I tell you, like I said, that was a great game. And they were kind enough to give us 9 keys we were able to give out during our extra live stream that we gave out to viewers. I know friends of the podcast, Palace got a couple keys. Dan's got one or two. We were able to kind of spread the wealth around, but really special thank you to TinyBuild for tossing some keys our way to give out to donators, participants, viewers that were with us for our extra live stream for that one. That was
Yeah,
fantastic
absolutely.
of them to do.
We very much appreciate it. It's we've on our two most recent long episodes, we reviewed, talked about two different games from TinyBuild and two completely different things. So we very much appreciate that from them.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was a very welcome surprise.
And let's flip the wheel for a second. Last of Us, what are your impressions thus far? You're getting close to
Oh
the end
man,
too, so you should have a
I'm
solid
about
foundation.
halfway.
How you
I'm
feel.
about halfway through. Yeah.
Okay.
So it is gut wrenchingly emotional,
That is not the first time I've seen a phrase similar to that being used in the last 2
and
weeks to describe Last of Us.
it is, yeah, it is absolutely gut wrenchingly emotional, and uh, there are definitely some scary parts, but it really tugs at the heartstrings
Right.
way more than it does.
Yeah, and I think that's one of those things that Naughty Dog is definitely known for. You look at Uncharted, the Uncharted series, Last of Us, they really put a lot into, their single player, stories, environments, and multiplayer is really an afterthought with a lot of these. I mean, we're seeing that now. Last of Us 2 is it's delayed now. I know we've mentioned it before. I want to say April of next year is when we're looking at that one coming out. But they really put a lot of focus and emphasis on making that single player experience and are really a testament to the fact that single player games are not dead. They're not going anywhere. And
Right.
what's amazing is that you can still enjoy a game like that, and it has aged so well. I popped into
Yeah.
a Palace's stream one of the nights too, and was like, dude, this game still looks gorgeous.
Yeah, it's definitely held up way better than I would have expected it to for going on 6 or 7 year old game now. The the graphics and the you know everything about it really holds up very well to things that are going on graphically currently.
Right. And it's golly. I'm still like I was sitting there, I pulled up your stream one night too, and I was gonna play some other games too, but I got stuck watching your stream. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but I was just literally glued to my monitor watching and kind of reliving some of those moments with you that I was like, holy smokes, I forgot X, Y, and Z happened. This is coming up. I can't wait to see his reaction to this. That's a great stream game.
Yeah, so far it's been fantastic. I've really enjoyed it. My dad's actually popped in every night that I've been streaming it too. So I've enjoyed having him around and heckling me during stream and after stream about things that I've missed or messed up. So he's pretty hardcore into it. So it's been
Yeah,
a
he
lot of
is.
fun.
Yeah, he actually knows a lot about it too, and he's played it before and been trying to get you to play it too, right?
Yeah, so he's been trying to get me to play it. So I played Uncharted. I started with Uncharted 2, but I played Uncharted 2 and 3 and then kind of fell out of the Uncharted franchise. I had a lot of other stuff going on in my life, college and whatnot, not at that time.
No big
So
deal.
right, it happens. And but he I actually gave him my PS3 and he picked up Uncharted and loved it, and he got into The Last of Us and was trying to get me to play it from the get go. And so it's he, it's he's enjoying it too because it's giving him someone to talk to the game, talk with the game,
Right.
talk about the game with, right? So, but he's actually beat it on Grounded, 2 or 3 times.
So that's not the first
Which
time I've heard Grounded come up. Actually, I did not even know that was a mode. And when I was watching Palace stream, I think it was last night, they were talking about some achievements for Grounded. What's Grounded?
Grounded is the hardest difficulty. So you can't get to it until you've beaten the game on the next hardest difficulty, which I believe is just called hard or something. I don't remember what the next lowest or the next hardest difficulty is. But so it's a difficulty that's locked behind beating the game at a different difficulty.
So are we talking? Is it kind of like the? Are we talking less HP, permadeath, anything like that?
Um, Easy, normal, hard, survivor, grounded, or the difficulty levels. Basically, it's way less ammo. You're I believe you do less damage to enemies, and the enemies do more damage to you. So in essence, less health. And you really have to be. They can hear you better, see you better, all those things. So you really have to play at a level that is kind of above and beyond,
Right.
normal. Just get it done level to get through the game.
Yeah. Okay. That game was pretty hard, if I remember correctly, even on normal. Well, not hard, but it was challenging, like a comfort level challenging, but not like, oh my gosh, this is insanely hard. I can't even imagine playing it on Grounded, to be totally honest with you.
Yeah, it's Grounded is hard enough. I'm playing on normal right now, and I'm enjoying the difficulty level. It's definitely offering challenges. You can attest to the fact that it's not a breeze, right? I have failed numerous times. It's in areas where it's seemingly fairly simple, but you just get overwhelmed with the number of infected,
Right.
and so I can't imagine Grounded. Not right now. Maybe a few plays into it,
Yeah.
I would have it, but you got to really know like every little trick and everything about the game to get through it at Grounded.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So we've kind of already jumped into the games we've been playing here lately, but I do want to talk quickly about PUBG because I got the bug on that one actually from a friend at work. Got me playing
I've seen
PUBG
you
again.
playing it on Discord a lot.
Let me tell you, that bug's it's got me again. But I am absolutely floored at the number of hackers and cheaters that are still present in that game. And I mean, about a week ago we were playing, and we were in this house, had strong armed this house, taking everything, and blah blah blah, and we had people on the outside of the house that were coming after us, and somebody glitched in through a bathroom wall and smoked my buddy. We went back and watched the death cam because that is one of the best things they've added to that game is the ability to watch death cam. And we watched the guy literally glitch into the bathroom. And then we saw somebody else take a shot at one of the other guys because we were doing a squad, had no line of sight or anything. So the nice thing is that you can actually see these people cheating, and the reporting system works because like the next morning, we got messages popped up, or next time we logged on saying, hey, so-and-so, thanks for reporting X, Y, and Z. This player is now banned, permanent banned, or what have you, they've taken action against. Right. So that system works fairly well, but I am still shocked at the number of cheaters that are still playing that game.
I heard about how rampant the cheating was when it first came out because they didn't really have a very good anti-cheating system in place. But it's good to know that even if the anti-cheat stuff isn't quite there yet, that the reporting system does work. So.
It is, and that's more than you can say for a lot of other games. They did just have early October Badlands, I believe is the name of this season right now. I could be wrong. Came out, their new Survivor Pass, and dude, I was telling them the other night, that game, they have a lot of currency going on with that game because, of course, you can buy crates. Now, here's the crazy part. I didn't know this because I get my little BP, which is like your in-game currency that you get for playing the game and earning stuff. You got BP where you can use to buy a crate. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm going to buy this crate. I haven't played in a long time, so I was rather shocked to see that now I need to spend real money to buy a key to unlock this crate. And it's like $2 or $3. Little frustrated with that because I want to customize my character, but I'm not dumping dollars into that. I paid for the Apex season pass, and you see how often I'm playing that right now.
Yep.
But not only do they have the BP going on, real cash going on, you've got like blue coupons, silver coupons, random colored coupons going on right now. Like they have a lot of currency going on in that game. And the screens, like, it's a pain in the ass to get through some of the screens. To get your progression on your weapons is in one screen, and to find out what your progress in the season pass is in a totally different screen, and then I'm not very good when it comes to dealing with a lot of menus. And let me tell you, like, it's a little frustrating at time because I forget where I need to go, which doesn't help because I got kind of a bad memory anyways, but there's no clear-cut path for a lot of this stuff. And it makes it frustrating, when you're trying to do challenges or what have you to kind of go through that stuff. But I haven't played it in a while, so a lot of this stuff may not be new. May have been there for a while. But I'll say that game is still fun. And playing it on the PC, because I used to play it on Xbox, is a night and day difference. That game runs pretty damn good on a PC, minus the whole cheating thing you got to deal with.
Yeah, it's good to hear, man.
Yeah.
I never really got into PUBG. I realized it was kind of one of the first battle royale style games out there, but it never really hit my fancy. It just seemed, I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it. Too try hard maybe at the time.
Ooh, try hard pants. Do you remember a game called Delta Force?
But that was, I don't like I said, I don't know that that's the right words for it.
Right,
but,
right.
That's the feelings I had towards it. Hey, they're trying to be too realistic with it without actually adding any realism into it.
Right. Do you remember a game called Delta Force?
Vaguely.
Oh, dude, that does my heart so good. So let me strike your memory a little bit. It was one of those games that 90% of the people played snipers, and you would hide on like the other side of a map. And I remember playing that, man, I had to have been a teen, maybe younger when I was into that game. But you would hide pretty much on the other side of the map, and you would sit there for 10, 20, 30 minutes just waiting to see a pixel shift in the distance. And then you'd take a shot, and it was like straight arrow targeting. There's no bullet drop or anything like that. But that's what PUBG reminds me of at times because it's a lot slower paced. You can't play it like Call of Duty.
Yeah, I can see that. Definitely.
That game, though, man, I enjoyed Delta Force. That game was awesome. Then they really screwed it up, with fancy graphics and all that other stuff. But
right.
What about you? You got
anything
else you've been playing?
That reminds me of like original Halo days, sitting on the map with the sniper and just taking pot shots at people across the map, hoping to hit somebody.
Like battle rifle. We were talking about that new mode in Destiny.
Yes.
Mayhem? Yep. Is that what it was called?
No, momentum control.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
And you've got
very much like one of the Halo modes.
And you've gotten into a lot of Destiny multiplayer here lately.
I have totally come around to Destiny 2 multiplayer. I got a chance to play with you some on multiplayer. I got a chance to play with the Rocket Punch boys some on multiplayer. And Destiny, I get it. I understand all of the hype about Destiny 2 multiplayer. When you're playing with people and can strategize and form a real goal and have people to play with, it is awesome.
I agree. I can't agree even more. And you recently, got into like the Destiny single player stuff. Haven't finished that. How would you what's your favorite part? Single player or multiplayer?
Multi, for sure.
Well, yeah, and I know a lot of the single player stuff is multiplayer, but I mean more like PvP versus PvE.
PvP for sure. I think it's a toss up between Crucible and the other one with the G.
Gambit.
Why can't I think of it? Gambit. Right. It's a toss up between those two. The PvE VP stuff in Gambit is really fun. You can just play PvE if you want to do that. You can go to the PvP side if you want to do that. But the pure PvP from Crucible is epic as well. And the momentum control, like total game changer on that. SWAT. It was SWAT. It's SWAT
Yep,
from
there
Halo.
you go.
That's what it's like.
And when you said that, I was
total
like,
game changer.
yep, that's exactly what that mode is. And of course, it's coming. It's a Bungie product, so okay, well played. But dude, they do multiplayer games, especially when it comes to PvP, so friggin' well. Like they can't be touched. And the gunplay in Destiny, I'm still convinced, is one of the best multiplayer experience. One of the best games. One of the best game shooters. Can't talk here. One of the best shooters. Bungie just does it so well.
Unparalleled. They're absolutely unparalleled.
Yeah, I agree. I had a lot of fun doing that. Iron Banner launched again. I want to say today.
Have to do it some more.
Oh yeah, yep, for sure. Now Iron Banner, I know, launched. I want to say today.
Is the next Iron Banner today?
Yeah, which is odd because normally you got about a month lag between the Iron Banner events. This one's launching almost 2 weeks after the last one, which interesting. But pro tip for you out there, because you can get I think a pinnacle weapon, up to 4 pinnacle weapons on this Thursday. They are changing the power drop level for pinnacle weapons. Instead of being +1, it'll be +2 of your current level. So if you get those bounties done, wait till Thursday to cash them in. You want to get that +2 because that helps that grind, a little bit. Not as grindy.
Definitely.
You'll definitely move up a little bit better though.
Definitely. Good tip.
It is. The last thing I got to talk about.
So I know we keep saying it. I know we always talk about Destiny, but we've got to do an episode talking about all of the things for building armor sets and doing the infusion and all of that stuff associated with Destiny, because I still haven't got into any of that and how to do any of that stuff yet. So one of these days.
Yeah, that will be a special episode.
Hey, that's going to be a bonus episode. There
you go. One thing I wanted to talk about real quick, I didn't put it on the show notes, but there's another game that I have fallen in love with on Apple Arcade. Wasn't prepared to talk about this one, but I was just sitting here thinking about, man, I can't wait to play this one. This one, of course, this is why we can do edits. Yep. Okay. Cricket Through the Ages.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I've heard of it. I've heard it. I haven't played it. I saw it. It looked interesting. Haven't downloaded it yet.
This is so. Again, Apple Arcade has got me saying yes on mobile gaming. Anybody who's listened before knows I've not been that high on it. I'm telling you, I feel differently now, and that's okay because we can change how we feel. I was going through the Apple Arcade store, the other day, and about a week ago, came across Cricket Through the Ages, and I was like, okay, this looks interesting. And interestingly enough, the same developers that do Cricket Through the Ages also do Broforce for PlayStation.
Okay.
You know what Broforce
I've heard
is?
of that one. I've seen it. I've heard of it. I haven't played it, but I've seen it.
Dude, Broforce is awesome. If you haven't played it, it's pretty good. It's the one that has kind of like the superheroes. Instead of Rambo, he's called Rambro. And like Arnold Schwarzenegger or something like that. Really crazy names with that. But the same group that does that, and I want to say the developers are called Free Games. I'll correct it in the show notes. But they are involved with Cricket Through the Ages, and it's just like it sounds. Like they start you off and you can do either 2-player, 1-player versus computer. And you have, I am going to screw these terms up because I've never watched a day of cricket in my life. You got your paddle and you've got somebody tossing a ball, but other levels get absolutely ridiculous to where you have a rock you're throwing at the other player. And how they execute the two players playing against each other is the screen's just split in half. The nice thing is all you have to do is tap or hold down on the screen to do any kind of actions.
Okay.
It's a blast. There's one random part of it where you're a dinosaur and the other player is just like a caveman. And you're going to lose. The dinosaur is going to charge you. But there's commentary to it by like some British guy or what have you that's talking about cricket through the ages. And then you go through like these various levels. Like there's a World War II level or something like that. Absolutely insane. I don't want to spoil it much because I really feel like you have to experience it for yourself. Devolver Digital. Yes, thank you. The guys who did Broforce, I saw, or the company that did Broforce, I saw their names involved in it too. I just can't remember the company off the top of my head. But it's worth checking out. I'm telling you, my son has asked me multiple times. I got him to play it that night. We were sitting there laying in bed. I was laying, next to him. He's laying next to me, and we're tapping on the screen. My wife came in. What are you guys doing? And we were playing Cricket Through the Ages. It's awesome, man. You got to check it out.
I will.
Definitely worth it. Yeah, it is for sure.
So another one that I picked up that I, didn't talk about is Rocket League.
Yes.
You and I played that some. I played that some last night. Me and I played that a bunch. I was taking a break from, hanging out, and he wanted to do something. So I cranked up Rocket League, and he and I played a couple of rounds of that, and he loves it. He's been harassing me all day today to play that ball game where you hit the ball into the goal.
And that game is so easy for younger people to pick it up because you drive a car, you hit the ball. And I love how easy it is. My son, when he was 6 years old, I think I got him to play his first one, and very similar experience. Absolutely loved it. Has he convinced you to buy crates yet? Or to buy keys?
He's fortunately young enough that he doesn't really understand how to navigate around in the menus. So I still get to do all of the navigation and control where we actually go.
So you avoid the crates?
Seen any of that stuff yet. He doesn't know that there are things that you can buy.
Well, make sure you don't let him, because the good news is Rocket League announced, or Psyonix announced, that towards the end of this year, they are going to like the Fortnite style system. And I know we've talked about it before, but just want to remind everybody, because I'm a big Rocket League fiend too. They'll have the Fortnite style storefront where you actually pay for the item you want versus rolling the dice on a crate. So you tell them, hold on, in about a month, you're going to be able to customize your car really good to exactly what you want. But you've been having fun with that one too.
Yeah, that one's been a ton of fun.
How do you feel about the skill ceiling?
I think I don't know that I've hit one yet.
Okay.
I personally haven't encountered I've had some challenging things to learn and get through, but I think I don't think that there's really, to me, I don't think there's a skill ceiling so much as there's just a strategy curve.
Yeah.
Right. Or a skill curve. Right. So eventually I have played with some guys who were world class rated, and like you can definitely see the skill difference and how their understanding and grasp is different than yours as a new player. But I like just a few tips that you gave me right from the start about like, hey, this is the thing you need to start learning and picking up. I've been trying to practice that kind of stuff, and just knowing that I need to practice, flying through the air with the boost and getting the boost and the air turns and stuff like that. It's kind of giving me a leg up that most players don't get right out the start. But I feel like if there's been any skill ceilings, I've been skating through them instead of running up against them.
That's good, because I know when I first started out playing that game, and I've been playing Rocket League ever since it was free on the PlayStation Store years ago. I was, oh my gosh, this is so hard. I've gone through my stages of that's where I'll play for a month or two. And I feel like very similar to what you're saying, is it's easy to contribute though regardless of your skill level, because the net where the ball goes is still only so tall. And any kind of jump you do, you can put yourself in a position to block somebody no matter what kind of aerial they're doing. So you can still contribute to that team even with the most basic skills. But man, is it sexy when you do like a ball carry into the net, do slam dunk, stuff like that. It's so gratifying.
And I think even if you're not confident enough to do any goaltending or shot and shooting, you can still be very useful in trying to intercept people and block people and run people away from the ball, right? So even if all you're doing is spending your time on the ground running around, being able to just get between somebody who's trying to take the ball and away from your team and in your team member and playing that blocker is still super helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. It's exciting to see somebody new kind of pick it up and play. The only other person I play with, but we've been playing it virtually for the same amount of time, and it's just been me and him. So it's exciting to see somebody else kind of get in there and get the reins. And you're moving up quick. I have no doubts you'll be platinum by the end of the season.
Lofty goals.
There we go. All right. We got some news, but you have the best of news to talk about today.
Yeah, let's dive right in. Extra Life, man. We talked about it at the top of the show. We participated with Rocket Punch. We did good things for Extra Life this year. The team as a whole, Rocket Punch, not including Palace Streams because he's on a different team, but he did participate in the Rocket Punch stream. Raised $2,148 for Extra Life. That's fantastic. The goal was 2K. I think the Rocket Punch guys said that they have been averaging somewhere between 1,200 and 1,500 in every year that they've done it. So we crushed it, man. We crushed it this year.
Yep, that's fantastic too, because they also set a record for what we've done in the past, or what they've done in the past. Absolutely blew that out of the water. And even for the One More Game podcast, we had done it before when we were still really young and really new. I think we got one or two donations at $30. This year, between you and I, we were able to get $100,
$100,
yep,
right on the money.
There we go. So that was huge for us too. But the biggest thing out of this is that people showed up, watched the streams, shared the events, shared the news and stuff. A lot of participation from, the One More Game community, Rocket Punch, everybody else who was streaming, JMO Palace, everybody else who was part of this team. Tremendous efforts. A lot of fun was had despite the pay issues with the website was having Saturday.
They were down for 8 or 10 hours on Saturday. And still made the goal despite that, which is, that's fantastic. And those guys, the donor drive team and the Extra Life team, they were on it. They were, hitting the socials and making sure everybody knew, hey, we are aware. We're still working on the issues. We know things are going on. Be patient with us. We'll get them back up. And they did. They got it back up. They had a little bit more trouble, I think, Sunday morning. But, all in all, they were managing it. They took it like champs and rocked it and got everybody to where they could donate and got the systems back up.
Right.
Despite still being attacked, evidently.
Like who would do something like that? Like Lizard Squad and their stupid Christmas shenanigans years ago. But if it was a no kidding like DDoS, or what have you, like actual attack on the network, there's a special place in hell for people like that. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Some people just want to watch the world burn, and they want to burn the world at, to the detriment of the rest of us.
Yeah. Screw them. They couldn't hold it down because Extra Life still set a record this year for their total donations as well.
Do you know how much it was?
I want to say it was between 9 and 12 million. I saw something the other day that said that they've had a record year with all the donations. You fact checking that real quick?
I'm checking to see if I can find
out. Hope I'm correct. Maybe somebody in chat can help us out with that one. I'm almost positive, though. Last I checked, I want to say it was like around 9 million or something pretty damn good. But yeah, kudos to everybody there. That was a fun event to participate in. Me and Brennan are already talking
Ten
about
and a
what we're going
half
to do.
million
10.5
is
million.
what Palace.
Yep. Thank you, Palace.
Yes.
There you go. Like, that's awesome. Gamers love to give. That's all I'm going to say.
Indeed.
And it was a success story. I had a good time participating in that. Already looking forward to next year.
It's funny. I was looking at the Extra Life page to see if I could find it on their page, but they are so about, like pushing out the community that's donating that they don't actually list their number anywhere. They just tell you the teams who are raising the most.
Yeah.
Which
No,
is,
that's
I mean, that's fantastic too.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. And for those that don't know, if you're thinking about participating, do it. Just do it. Everybody can. You got an Xbox and an internet connection, you can stream. You can stream to Mixer. You can stream to Twitch. They do a fantastic job prepping streamers with overlays, graphics, you name it. They got a media kit. They will put you on your way. Literally, all you have to do is hit the stream button. You got a donate page. I'd encourage you to get involved with that. It's for a great cause.
They've got integrations with Twitch. They've got all the things that you could want.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Shifting gears a little bit. We haven't talked much about this here lately, which everybody's probably like, oh my gosh, you're going to talk about Fortnite. Yes, just for a minute, because I think this is newsworthy stuff. For those that don't know, YouTube sensation is how I've seen him said, but basically YouTube star Jarvis, part of FaZe Clan, apparently he's pretty famous in the Fortnite community. Can't say I knew who this was beforehand, but he's been slammed with a permanent ban by Epic because he decided to try using an aimbot for one of his YouTube videos. And I want to say he was doing it like in creative or solo, with a different account, like with an alternate account, it even might have been. Well, Epic found out, and Epic gave him a permanent ban for said actions. Now, I get the impression you're not exactly one who stays in the know with Fortnite news. Is that a safe assumption?
It's a safe assumption.
Okay. Let me throw this at you now. We talked about this here on the 1MoreGame podcast many episodes ago. There was a case for right before the last Fortnite World Cup or what have you, where a couple of other participants were found gaming the system, basically getting people that they were getting easy kills, like colluding with other players so they could get kills, because it's all based on how many kills you get. It's a point-based system to try and plus their numbers up, to break into the tournament. Epic found out, and Epic hit them, I want to say, with like a 2-week or 3-week ban. These two players, and they're professional players too, mind you, were then allowed to compete like 7 weeks later at the Fortnite World Championship. What's the difference? Do you think there's a difference?
I don't know that there is a difference, and I don't know that it was right of them to let them, even though they were found to be doing it right, and then ban this guy permanently.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the fact that these two other individuals were able to try and game the system and then get a 3-week slap on the wrist or a 2-week slap on the wrist, and then go ahead and compete at the biggest Fortnite tournament in the world, and what this kid did, I absolutely agree. I think he should have gotten banned. But I think the second you kind of set a precedence with somebody cheating, you need to apply the same, threshold of punishment across the board. I think by permanently banning this kid from playing the game, you're essentially, wiping out his career, right? And I'm not saying what he did was right. I'm saying I think he deserved the permanent ban. But you've set a precedence with how you handle cheating in your game already. You know what I mean? Even just doing something like gaming the system.
Have they changed their policies since that back when the tournament stuff happened?
Not that I know of.
Their cheating policy or anything like that. Because that's the only thing I think of. Right? Is somehow, some way, in the past, the policy kind of left some wiggle room for how long is the punishment? Is it, is there judgment? Whereas now it may say something like, no tolerance and permanent removal from the game or something, right? They may have stiffened their punishment words and, in their policy.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm not entirely sure if there has been. I will say this was not just in creative that he was using this though. It was in the the solos mode or what have you, but not like in the competitive mode, the Arena Cup. He still used this on other
non-competitive
players.
but online.
Yeah, exactly. And he said that he was trying to do it, to doing something cool for a YouTube video. I mean, like how every friggin' bad idea starts. Well, I was gonna put it on YouTube. And he since has released, a pretty emotional apology, video. I don't feel bad for him. I think when you are in that kind of position with him, you are, and I still don't know how I really feel about this, this phrase or this word. You're an influencer, though. And people are going to see what you're doing, especially these 13, 14, 15-year-old Fortnite pro player wannabes, and some of them that age are already pro players. I guess I'll note that.
Wasn't there the 16-year-old who won the Fortnite World Championship? 13-year-old?
It was young.
Who won the
Fortnite they were young. But you're in a position to influence these kids, and by you doing something like that, you may not be promoting it, but you're promoting it.
Well, there's, if you really wanted to do it, there's the right way to go about it too, right? You contact Epic, you say, hey, I want to do this video. I want to do it in a controlled environment. I want you guys to be involved in it to show what the aimbots are doing and why it gives an unfair competitive advantage, right? I there's a right way to go about it, and he just didn't go about it in the right way. If he wanted to make that video, and I agree with him, it would have been a very entertaining video to see, a very informative video to see how these aimbots work, how they're doing the things that they're doing, and what they provide to the people who are using them, to understand why it's a bad thing for them to be there. Some people just don't understand that it's not that some people don't understand the level of effect that things like the aimbots have, and so having a video out there where you're showing that off would be a very good thing. But you gotta get in touch with the people who are in control of that stuff, let them know you're going to be doing it, get a controlled environment set up, and let them be part of it, and don't just surprise them with it.
Yeah, and let me just note, I don't believe his intent was to say, hey, this is why these things are bad. I think one of the articles I read basically said he wanted to do something cool. So it really, he seemed like he wanted more clicks, with one of those typical clickbait videos like this. If you don't, 10,000 spiders will poop in your mouth by the next morning when you wake up. One of those kind of things. So I really have no sympathy for that kind of behavior. I think you're getting on a game, you're accepting that EULA or that user license. You are fair game. But I do have the issue with, like I said, with the World Cup tournament, if there was no adjustment in their wording or how, they expect the player conduct to go, that seems pretty harsh with what other players have done, in the past. But hey, no skin off my back. If you wouldn't have done it, you wouldn't have even been in this position.
Right. I don't think I could expect any less from, from the developers. If I did that, I'm opening myself up to to their policies.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we will let you take this one because this one has been a boiling pot.
The boiling pot, Blizzard and the Blitzchung controversy, right? I mean, it seems like it never ends. Back around again with BlizzCon. The president, J. Allen Brack, talking about it a little bit during his opening statement, which for some people seems to have fallen on deaf ears. I think it was a little bit out of I don't know, it wasn't the right way to go about talking about that, waiting until BlizzCon when you knew you're going to have a captive audience to basically say, hey, sorry, we screwed up, right? Some people see it as hollow.
Wait, that was there was like a 3 week, from Flash to Bang, right?
Right.
There was a good amount of time that they have let this thing simmer before responding,
Yeah,
right?
it's definitely been simmering for a while, with no real explanation, no real insight into anything that's going on. And then all of a sudden, oh hey, we made it better. Sorry. So basically, the what to come of it is that they did not totally reverse the ban, but they did kind of roll back the punishments, right? So his winnings were reinstated. The 1 year, or was it 1 year, or was it a permanent ban? I believe it's 1 year ban from professional.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah,
say
it
it
was a
was.
12 month
Yep.
ban. Was rolled back to 6 months instead of the year. They did restore his prize money. Um, and so I think all of that's good. It's kind of more in line with what I would expect. Hey, you broke our policy. You're not going to be able to compete in any more events for this season, or 6 months, or however long. But you get to keep all your prize money that you've already won, and all of that. So there was other comments on it. This is an article from IGN, who got to interview uh, J. Allen Brack directly, talking about there's a post made by the Hearthstone team on Weibo, which is a Chinese national blog site. But it's from, he kind of stated that account is actually run by a team in China for a company that's not directly associated with Blizzard.
Which
The
is
way
not
that game
uncommon though either, right?
Right, right. So the way that game distribution works for non-Chinese companies into the Chinese market is that they basically have to have a sponsoring Chinese company sell the games for them. They can't. So an outside company cannot directly sell into the Chinese market. So there's a totally separate company. In this case, it's a company called NetEase that sells Blizzard's games in China for them. And so they're responsible for running all of those social media accounts in China. And so the statement made on that Chinese blog post about the, you know, basically the what caused the whole controversy in the first place, besides the ban, was, hey, they were saying, oh, Blizzard's all for this Chinese nationalism thing. Was a post made by a Chinese national company on a Chinese blog in China, reflecting their
Mm.
thoughts on it and not necessarily Blizzard's.
You hired him. You're responsible for him.
Well,
But hired
I
in a
mean,
sense of, that's who you pick to represent you in that entity.
right.
I still think no matter what, you can shift the blame. I think you use the best phrase you possibly could with that: hollow apologies.
Right.
I even he got choked up, right? Or he appeared to get choked up when he apologized and stepped on stage. And what I was thinking when I went back and watched the video later was, okay, it took you this long. Like, dude, you are the CEO, the president of this company. That is your responsibility to get out there and say something. You don't wait for, well, is this going to blow over? Is this going to be hit? Because, there was a huge outcry for that. You had people trying to delete
Right.
their WoW accounts that were supposedly unable to. People were leaving the services en masse. It was a real wake-up call, I think, and it did not blow over like they had anticipated. And I really do think there was, a bit of a fear, with how BlizzCon was going to go over, with all of that stuff kind of looming up. So I will say it was the right thing to at least get it at the start, but I still think
Yes.
there was way too
Yep.
much time between the events for it to mean anything, really. Now it's time to see what they actually do, though.
It would not have taken much for him, or not even have to be him, just anybody from Blizzard in the public relations department to put out a video 2 weeks ago saying, "Hey, we're reviewing this. We understand that things may not have gone down exactly how and we're looking at it to see what we need to do, what we need to correct, if there's anything we can correct, and hold tight. We'll let you know, right?" They know BlizzCon's coming up, right? They could have even said that, right? Hey, we're gonna have a resolution by BlizzCon. We'll let you know then.
Yep.
right? Just a quick little something, a blurb to put out in the media saying, hey, we understand you guys are unhappy about this.
We're working on it. We'll
We're
get
working
back
on
to
it.
you. Yeah. No, I agree with you. Um, it's sad. A lot of that could have been mitigated, but there were a couple of good announcements that did come out of BlizzCon. Just to kind of get into that real quick, we know Overwatch 2 is being worked on, but there is like zero expectations on finding a release date anytime soon. It sounds like that thing is still way far, into not far into development, but like still early in development at least.
Right.
It looks good. It looks like they've actually tuned up some of the graphics and whatnot. The push mode is new where you actually have like a robot, which seems like with some personality too. That's doing some of that other stuff where you would normally just kind of defend the cart and it shifts, towards your base or away from it.
Right.
The same characters you'll have carry over for your gear from like the loot boxes and stuff from what it sounds like. And a real big focus on like a storyline, like a PvE kind of thing that is missing from the Overwatch universe.
It's interesting that they're revving to a new version instead of kind of taking the same track that a lot of these similar style games are and just pushing updates to change the maps.
Like
a la
Fortnite and
Apex.
Yep.
Right. So it's kind of interesting that they're deciding, no, we're going to really call it a game. Even though it's going to have some similarities, it's going to be, they think it's going to be different enough to push a whole new number out.
Yep. No, I agree. I'll be curious enough to play it. I think you're still at least year and a half, 2 years from seeing that thing.
Easily. Maybe this time next year we'll start seeing closed betas roll out.
Yeah. Holiday next year, yeah, you could see the betas. And then Diablo 4, what everybody seems to have been waiting for. We got an artsy trailer on that one as well. I myself am not a huge Diablo fan, but I can appreciate the mass amount of fans that are. What struck me though, and we'd actually talked about this in chat too, was right away pretty much online only.
Yep.
How do you feel about that?
As we talked, it was definitely hitting the Discord. We talked about it a little bit, but as other folks pointed out, Diablo 3 was the same way except for the Switch, right? So and that's something I hadn't realized. I played a little bit of Diablo. I didn't realize that there was a game mode. If Diablo 4 is anything like Diablo 3, I think that there's room for solo play, but I definitely played a lot more with groups in Diablo 3 when I was playing Diablo 3. So I think an online only mode, being an online only game kind of makes sense. A lot of games are moving towards, if they're moving more towards that, hey, we want you to play with a group. We understand that LAN parties aren't really a thing anymore. People play online remotely. I don't really have a real problem with it. The Switch not getting an online only mode, we'll see how that goes, with it being the portable platform. But in general, no big deal, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm still Diablo.
I was a little bit shocked when I first heard it.
Yeah, and the Switch thing too. I was at the same thing too. I did not mess around with Diablo 3. But historically, like Diablo, when I did play, I think I played maybe 1 and 2 a little bit. It is like a dungeon crawler, right? I associate that with like single player campaigns and stuff, and that's why I was really kind of shocked. Like, oh wow, and I didn't realize that 3 was in the same kind of state with it being online only. Right. But where I do take issue with games like this, and I don't know, how the entire community feels about it, is that there's that time when you're not connected, right? Believe it or not, people are not always, connected to the internet, as hard as it may be believe. And this is always, kind of tender and close to home for me, because there's times that I go overseas, I bring my game console or something with me, and I'm not going to have civilian internet. I can't plug in my console or something like that. So I'm left with these games that I can play offline. And when you gate these games to online only, that's one less game I can play. Now, obviously the story's not all about me, but there's other people in similar situations. And I feel like, with Diablo, like I said, that's that ultimate dungeon crawler experience what do you mean this is online only? I should be able to go in there and swing my, sword and shield and throw my helmet at stuff, whatever, dungeon slashers do when they're playing the game. But it's just another one of those things. I still, there still needs to be games out there that don't require that connection. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I agree. But we're seeing less and less of them these days.
This is true. Switching gears for a second, because we know how much I love VR. Good news for Oculus Quest owners. There is going to be a solution to your, I don't want to say lagging hardware, but truth be told, for those that don't know, the Quest is not as powerful as like the Rift S. Why? It's wireless, right? The Quest doesn't require you to have a PC hooked up. It's standalone and all this other stuff. Well, recently we found out that is not the case, and I wasn't aware this was coming out until I read the news bit on it the following day. But we have the Oculus Link that is coming out soon, and apparently it's one of the most requested features for the Quest. And my logic is, okay, if that's what you guys are requesting, why the hell didn't you get a Rift S? But I'm just saying, now that capability will be there for the Quest owners, who now I'm jealous of, because now they get a lot of the benefits of the Rift S, because that's what that cable's doing, is allowing you to harness that PC's power, exactly what the Rift S does. It makes it easier for the Quest owners to access what is a bigger catalog, right? So now not only can Quest players play within the Quest ecosystem, now they have access to broader games. They're going to be able to use the home, the home area. I forget exactly what it's called off the top of my head, where the Rift S has. Like, it's a little place you can decorate, launch games from, play little mini things and all this other stuff. But because now you can tether that to a PC, you're basically upgrading the system. It's like going from an Xbox One S to a One X, kinda. It should be able to play most games that the Rift S can play. In reports that people who have actually had hands-on with it said very minor issues with it. Sometimes they could not tell a difference between like a Quest running versus a Rift S. Seems very palatable for somebody who's looking to kind of make that connection. And the price to jump forward is only $80. And I want to say the Quest was only, I'm not sure what it is right now, but when the Quest launched, it was only $100 less than what the Rift S was. So you're still getting away with a $20, savings by not buying the Rift S. So smart move on them. Man, I love VR, but I don't see it mainstream in the near future. Maybe even while we're alive.
I mean, I think we see mainstream VR in the next decade.
I don't know. I like it.
I think we're getting close. This current gen of VR hardware is getting to the point where the single eye screens are catching up in visual acuity and resolution to what we're seeing. In general, we're getting speeds from response times that are palatable. We're starting to get better at the whole 3D vision thing in such a way that it's not causing as much motion sickness. People are being able to handle it better. And so I think within the next 5 to 10 years, we really start to see that the VR push, maybe not VR as we know it now with the goggles, so much as more like full immersion virtual reality, right? Like a room or something where somebody can go in and have surrounding screens or holo projection or something that I don't know about real holo projection, but like a big room with screens.
Like what Microsoft had, like the HoloLens, right?
Yeah.
I think that was AR, right? No, I think
that was augmented reality. Yeah. But something more along that lines, where you may have glasses that provide your HUD, and then a big screen that surrounds you that you're able to walk around in the environment and actually physically move in, kind of maybe more where we go than this whole wear goggles and be in true virtual reality.
Right. Now, I think it's a good point. I don't know. I would still say I don't know that you're going to see full on push mainstream VR in the next decade. I think there's still a lot of stuff that has to be ironed out, because I tell you, playing with friends, and I don't have too many in the VR landscape, but doing anything with them is, for some reason, surprisingly hard. It's not as simple as being, on Steam, and party up, do this, and then go into this game. That's one of those things that I'm surprised they haven't really solved. But it does sound like Oculus is aware of, an issue just like that, and are working to address that kind of social space and teaming up issue. Obviously, they are way into it. Being owned by Facebook provides you pretty deep pockets.
Oh, definitely.
So
I think games, we're starting to see more and more games come into the augmented reality space too. Games like Minecraft Earth and stuff like that. So if we see kind of a transition from that augmented reality space with those kind of games into that virtual reality space, then I think we're going to see more mainstream grab of that technology. And of course, the barrier to mainstream is always price point, right? So as the hardware starts to get less and less better, the price will, per iteration, the price will start to come down, and then it'll be easier for people to get into that. So, we'll just have to see how it goes. But yeah, I'm with you.
So you are building a PC. You're in the process of building a PC. Are you planning on venturing into the VR landscape?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I can find a VR headset to play. I think it's interesting. I'd definitely be interested in it. Beat Saber looks awesome. And for that alone,
it's a $500 Beat Saber player. It is the most expensive game I've ever bought.
But that's if I can find somebody around here who's got one that I can borrow and check it out before I buy one, I might venture into that world.
It is. It's definitely something that I think everybody needs to check out. Yeah, I enjoy it. Real quick, the last thing I want to touch on with that one, though, is that for those that don't know or are familiar with it, like with the Rift S, you can use Steam VR. So I can play Steam games in my VR headset. They have reached out. VentureBeat reached out to Facebook to find out and double check as to whether or not that will be the case with the Oculus Link. And Facebook responded, yes, when you tether your Quest to your PC with Oculus Link, you will be able to operate the headset the same way you do a Rift. So that entire market will be, open for them as well. So kudos to them, though, for getting a solution that opens up more games to the players.
Heck yeah.
And I think that will pretty much sum up the news for this week, unless you have anything.
I mean, nope. I think that does it for me.
Do you want to talk Tarkov for a second? Give me your 30 second, because we're actually gonna get into it this coming week. We're gonna have a stream or two on Tarkov. I got B to finally check it out. Give me your 30-second feelings on the Escape from Tarkov game, the update for, 0.12, I guess you would call it, which you may not be too familiar with because you're a brand new player, but give me your 30-second impressions on Escape from Tarkov.
Hyper realism addiction.
Maybe HRAD?
That is nothing. There's no more to say about it. It is realism done the right way, in my opinion, and it is awesome. I cannot wait for this game to develop more fully and really show what's out there for in this hyper realism market. It's amazing.
Punishingly abusive yet fun.
Yes,
would be my phrase. I'm looking forward to it. I got to dive into it more. We have not played as much as we'd been trying to. That game I saw broke on the day the .12 came out, broke like 77,000 views, simultaneous views on Twitch for the game, which is absolutely huge.
It's enormous.
It's got some big players playing it now too. Lupo's playing it a lot. There was two other ones I forget off the top of my head, but there's some big names that are playing it now too, and you don't see ad next to their name. They're playing it because that's the game to play if you're looking for that hardcore experience right now.
And it's a hardcore experience for sure. No other option, right? You go in and it's rough and rugged, and it will beat you down, and it will suck time from your life. I spent 30 minutes sitting in a corner listening to people shoot guns around me, trying to figure out where they were coming from, and didn't realize that it had been 30 minutes.
And that's how a lot of people play that game. Very cautious. It's that kind of game. High risk, high reward at times. Man, that's a good game. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. We're post Extra Life 2019. We've got a couple streams coming up this week. We are not streaming tomorrow. We'll have one Thursday night, Friday night, and
I may hit some Saturday. We'll see how this weekend goes.
We'll of course have.
But I'm definitely going to be hitting some next Monday, and then Tuesday we're doing this recording thing again, man.
Yeah. We've got that going on. We do have the store too up at 1MoreGamePodcast.com. We've got some new items that will be launching here in the next week. Right now, we've got stickers, cell phone case. I think there's something else. Travel mugs, coffee mugs.
Yep.
You need to travel. You need to travel with us. Let us go with you. Treat your coffee well. Buy a One More Game podcast mug, travel mug, latte holder, I think is what it's called, latte mug. I don't know. I just put stuff in the Keurig and stuff comes out in my Yeti. But you know what? On that Yeti is a One More Game podcast sticker. So you got that option. Support the show. However, if you can't support it, share it. Tell your friends. Tell somebody. We're here. One More Game.
Yep. You can find us on Patreon. You can find us on Twitter at One More Gamecast. And the Discord is always there as well in the description.
It is. It is there. And we may or may not have a post-show stream. We'll see what's going on here. We do have some new overlays right now that are in the scenes. That is, I think, the last big one to work is the gameplay stream. Yep. But we may have an after-party stream because Apex just launched its Valentine's Day event. They did it months early. You got duos.
Months early. It's not even Christmas yet, and they're already doing Valentine's.
Yeah. What the heck? I'm cool with it. Grab your partner, do-si-do, do that whole thing, and we're going to see you, I promise, at a minimum, next Tuesday. Thanks for listening.
See you later.
Boom. I am going to hit stop on recording.
Stopped recording. Palace,
what's up, man? Thanks.
I am building a computer. I just started ordering parts for it today. I ordered the case. I ordered some RAM. I ordered a power supply. I ordered a Stream Deck because the case and the Stream Deck were in high demand on Amazon, and we're running out.
We got them going over it, man. Don't worry about the alert sound. You know what? I did not even think about that. So honestly, I'm glad you did it so we can figure stuff out like that before I actually convert all the new stuff over or pull the new stuff in on the alerts. I saw a bunch of your comments too, like about Extra Life. Hey Jay, if you're still in chat, hope your trip went well.
Yeah, man.
That
Good
dude,
to see you around.
That
Glad
kid
the trip went well.
Yeah. That kid deserved to get friggin' banned. I just hated how
you're good, Palace.
How that stuff happened. Yeah, it wasn't just in creative though. I'm just rehashing some of the comments, and Palace was definitely with us all night. Thanks again for joining us, and thanks again for the sub, dude.
We definitely do. Hey, love. Thanks for. We definitely do read chat. We like the little do the comment says like we read it. We're reading you. We're not just you're not distracting us at all.
Mm-mm.
We pull when we need to. That's
Yeah, and I think, do we have the blurb down there? That was one of the things that we just, I think we need to do a job of, or a better job of relaying, whether, down at the bottom of the panels, is that we're an audio show first, and that's kind of the audience we cater to versus Twitch, because we're not too big on Twitch. We're growing, obviously, but, man, our listeners are out there on Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
We're quickly getting to the point where the Twitch viewers might surpass the audio listeners.
Yeah, that is true. If we keep going at this rate, that's going to happen in no time. So we may have to revisit that views, but we're still kind of playing with, how Twitch fits into the live audio recording, of the show, and still kind of piece that stuff together. But yeah, if we keep going like this, there is like
I've I've got the Streamlabs throwing it out on a timer, but yeah, we should probably put a command up for it.
Yeah. So we don't want you. I definitely don't want you to think that we were ignoring you or distracting. I piped in on it, and you know what? You got me to feed into the hey. It wasn't just in creative, mode. It was definitely in solos too. So that's stuff that I can rehash too if maybe I didn't explain something. But no, man, I appreciate you coming by and hanging out and chatting with us. Let's see. Let me look at your feedback while you're here. That way, if I got any questions for you.
Salty, are you still with us?
Salty cat. He's the cat.
Okay,
I'm afraid to get
like
rid of.
that's really good feedback. That's really good feedback, Palace. The text is long, and so you're not reading it. So I will definitely shorten it or break it up into like a few different timers to talk to hit the different key points or something.
Okay. Yep. I'm reading your feedback right now. See, and I mirrored him too, which is odd. I had him over. I wonder if at some point, Palace sent me some feedback. I had asked him last night, oh, you were there, to give us some feedback on the stream. I think when I was moving your camera in, the size is funky now because I mirrored him last night.
Yeah.
I put it right over. And
I look squished.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure what I went ahead and did was adjust that camera height and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, and
yours is over the middle of the camera frame?
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, so I definitely hit something because yours was supposed to be over all the way to the right.
All the way on the left.
I can't believe I did that. Yeah. All the way to the left, I mean.
Yeah, it does. I think Dan actually looks a little bit squished too.
I'm always squished.
But I'm just saying, like the cameras definitely look more square.
Yeah, so they've got two different cameras. I'll use the other one. I think this is the 16:9. Let me see what border size this one is, and then I'll adjust them accordingly.
While we're sitting here, I should export my audio.
Oh, yeah, you should definitely do that because I'm going to do a little bit of editing tonight just to get ahead of that curve.
I lost it. Where'd it go? There it is.
Thanks for the feedback too, man. I really appreciate it.
Dan's looks fine, but having watched enough of his stream, he's definitely also squished.
Yeah, I think what it is the box frame is not the one to be using for it. Because this is like a square versus... Like the other camera boxes, like the other ones that I made, I think were perfectly fine.
Yeah.
We definitely need to... It's a good thing we don't sound squished. Excuse me. Because if we sound squished, then that would be really weird. That'd be no bueno.
Do we sound squished, Palace?
I think we sound squished. I'm pretty sure I can find something to sound me squished.
Multi-tracks mixed down. Entire session. Wave PCM.
Panels. Let me see. No, you know what I used? When I did the sizing, I did 4:3.
Yeah.
So I need to use 16:9.
16.
Yep. Dang it. Okay. Well, see, that's why we're an audio podcast first. And we ask Palace to look at shit. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the help. All right. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. I'll figure out here in a minute if I'm going to stream tonight. What time is it? 10:40. I don't know. But thanks again, everybody. Brandon, you got anything on stream?
No, I'm going to keep playing. I think I'm gonna try and do The Last of Us like one night a week until I finish it.
Yeet.
And play some other stuff on stream as well. So I'm not just doing The Last of Us. I definitely want to hit some other stuff as well. And
yeah. Palace, you finished it last night, right?
for his second time, I believe, or
Yeah,
third
yep.
time.
Yeah.
Did you get the? I know you were trying for the all optional conversations. I think I saw on Twitter that you didn't quite make it. You missed one.
Oh, just one? That hurts. That hurts the feelings a little bit. It's about a 16-hour game, right? I think it's 14 to 16.
16-ish hours is the
But if you're trying to hit every conversation, woo! It's a long game.
36 of 37.
Oh, dude, I feel for you.
Oh, and now it reset. So now you have to do all of them again and not just go find the one that you missed. That sucks.
I'd be burning that damn game. I'd be burning it.
To the ground.
To the ground. All right. Cut and stream. Thanks again for joining us.
See you guys later.